Alrighty. Guess we'll just go find someone to eat with, right? Andreas, I'm so sorry about what is happening to Brother Piero. I do not know him well, but I find it hard to believe he could have killed the Baron. He didn't. I'm going to figure out who did. Do you have any idea who might have done it? Did you see anything? Sadly, no. Most mornings I spend my time reading in the courtyard, but the rain made that impossible. And although the brothers are friendly... Oop, my cat just knocked something over. Although the brothers are friendly, I do not know them well enough to speculate. I'm sorry. I know it might be far from your mind, but have you considered my offer to eat with you and the townspeople? The gospel says that man cannot live on bread alone, but from time to time a little bread is required. Of course, I'll talk to Gret and see who she wants to come along. Where should she meet you? The shrine to St. Moritz. I'll see you there. Until then. Oh my, Andreas. Yes? Oh, are these all the mothers from Tassing and their children? Well, no, I don't think that's all of them. Helena Pfeifferin couldn't make it. It's a long walk up here in her condition. And Hedy said Hans was too big for stories. Stories? Stories of your homeland? I like stories. Yes, maybe a bit too much. Ha! All right, I can tell you a story. But first let us pray together and eat. Oh, this is heartwarming. Oh Lord, thank you for bringing us together as you brought Jesus to his disciples on the road to Emmaus. With the breaking of bread between us, let us recognize each other as Christians and rejoice in our salvation through you. Amen. Amen, 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 amen. Sorry, I leaned down to grab all the little things that my cat just knocked over. All right. And I thank you and your husband for this bread, Gret. My Ulrich always says that the bread brings people together. I missed this when I was in Florence. They don't have bread in Florence? What? Where's Florence? South, over the mountains. Last week, the blonde lady at our house with the pretty clothes, she was from Florence. Oh. Father Garneau eats a white bread, does he not? Yes, the finest wheat is used for the abbot's bread. Why? The abbot is a very important man, Paul. We have a bread in my home that we call injera. We make it thin, round, and wide, and we put our food on top of it. We eat it with almost every meal. As you love the bread of your home, so I miss mine. Oh, what's the recipe? Maybe we could make it. Thank you, but no, we use a fine grain that does not grow here, called teff. I hope you find our local bread satisfying, Brother Sabat. I do enjoy it, perhaps too much. I'm becoming too accustomed to life in Rome, even life in these mountains. In truth, I can no longer remember the taste of injera, not even the feeling of it in my mouth. There's a great danger that comes with the blessing of travel, living a life between worlds. I don't want to talk about bread anymore. It's so boring. Bread. Don't be rude, Bert. I did say I would tell a story. Children, have you ever seen a Bible? Father Tom. Yeah, Father Thomas has one. It's huge. My dad has one. It was printed in Bamberg. Very good. This is a Bible from my home that I brought to give to the abbot. Andreas, do you have a favorite story to illustrate from the Bible? The Annunciation, when Gabriel appears to Mary. A beautiful moment, when Mary learns that she will be the mother of God. Every mother fears for the safety of her children, but what a wonder and burden to know that you carry the salvation of all mankind in your womb. Even the ordinary kind are too much at times. But a blessing all the same. Now then, children, do you know the story of Jesus feeding the multitudes? Fish and loaves. My mom and dad make loaves. Interesting. This is from our Bible, how we tell the story of how Jesus fed thousands from only a few fish and a few loaves of bread. Why is everyone brown? Because where I am from, everyone looks like me. Why? Because we are all as God has made us. I know Tassing seems big to you, but the world is so much bigger than we can imagine. There are many people of many different colors all over the world. There are places where no one looks like you or me. Really? It's true. In Venice, I saw people come from across the Mediterranean Sea. Not just like Brother Sabat, but people of different places and cultures even farther away. Persians, Moors, Ottomans, each with their own way of speaking and dressing, their own customs. Brother Sabat, do you know the Baron who was murdered? Bert. It came up when I was visiting the Druckers. I think he's old enough to understand death. I'm sorry, Marie. There's nothing to apologize for. We can't shield them from the world forever. I did not know him, Bert, but do you know the story of Lazarus? No. He was a friend of Jesus. He became sick and he died. Hat. But Jesus brought his followers to Lazarus' tomb. He prayed to God, and when they opened the tomb, Lazarus emerged, returned from the dead. Jesus can bring people back from the dead? He can, Bert. One day Jesus will bring us all back from the dead. Everyone who has ever lived and died will come together and be resurrected on Judgment Day. Have your hat stolen? Cute kids. Even the Romans? Yes, the Romans too. Why did you ask about the Romans? I saw one come out of their tomb, like Lazarus. What do you mean, Paul? Well, the ruins below the mill, they're Roman, and they all died a long time ago. But I saw one come out the other night. They were in white, like Lazarus. Let's stop telling stories, Paul. You shouldn't be outside at night. Interesting. So we have a clue. Andreas, what does he mean? Must have been something else. That's the only rational explanation. There are things in this world beyond our understanding, Andreas. Perhaps the boy did see something supernatural. Apologies for that, ladies, but thank you for sharing a meal with me today. I will be leaving for Rome soon, but I am glad to have spent some time with you and your children. Thank you, Brother Sabat. It was wonderful. Don't forget to stop by the bakery before you go. I'm sure my husband will want to see you before you go. I will. God grant you all health. That was useful. We learned something there. I think it's useful. Basically, no matter who we eat with, we get something new. I can't go back into the library. Oh no. Okay. I was hoping I could sneak up on Matthew again, but here he is. Andreas. Yes, Brother Matthew? How did you sleep last night? You look a little rough around the edges. Do you really want to make something out of this? If you saw someone where they weren't supposed to be, one might ask where you were when you saw them there. God bless you, Andreas. Until later. What is it you think you're doing, Master Maler? Stay away from the sacristy. You know you're not allowed in there. Of course, my apologies. Thank you, Master Maler. Alright, so we did kind of just tell him to go away, but that's fine. There are still people here I want to talk to. I feel like we've learned nothing. Like I truly feel like we haven't made any headway in solving this case at all. I think Prior Ference did it, or someone who knew what Prior Ference was up to, but I don't know. It's just like, I feel like we've made a lot of headway and we've learned a lot overall, but I don't think we've learned anything actionable, which is the problem. God bless you, Andreas. God bless you, Mother Cecilia. Is there something I can help you with? I need to talk to you about Sister Matilda. Matilda told me. Of course. What happened to Sister Matilda was tragic. Lorenz, the Baron, tried to seduce Sister Matilda. She rebuked him several times. So one morning he attacked her in the meadow on her way to town. He dragged her into the woods. Sister Matilda is a strong woman, but her resistance was met with violence. When pilgrims to the shrine found her, she had been beaten so badly she could barely move. As terrible as the attack was, I knew that bringing it to Father Matthias would put him in an impossible position. The Baron would suffer no consequences, but the abbot would have refused his continued patronage. I concealed the assailant's identity from the Father Abbot and had Sister Matilda taken to an hermitage near Mittenwald, a small municipality known for its transalpine routes between Augsburg, Innsbruck, and Milan. Massive amounts of coin and trade passed through Mittenwald each year. She stayed there under the care of sisters until she recovered and could return. She deserved better than to be shuffled away to an hermitage. You don't think that the Baron would have taken action against the Baron? The abbot would have taken action against the Baron? No, I'm positive that he would have. In doing so, he would have jeopardized the existence of this community. Try to understand how hard it is for my kind to believe that any man, especially a nobleman, could be held accountable. I'm not proud of what I did, Andreas, but what's done is done. You're right, of course. I can only pray that the Lord will repay the debt I incurred. How did Sister Matilda feel about seeing the Baron again at Kiersau? Andreas, if you want me to tell you that I think my Sister Matilda killed the Baron, I won't. Seeing him was hard for her, of course. She defended her virtue from the Baron, but her injuries were severe. Her body recovered in time, her mind. I don't know if it ever will. She still fights him in her dreams. She wakes in the night screaming, soaked in her own sweat. So it affected her, yes, it still affects her. That doesn't mean she wanted to kill the Baron. It certainly doesn't mean she actually did. Sister Matilda is a faithful servant and a friend of Christ. I believe that truly, Andreas. She is respected and beloved by this community for good reason. Very well. Thank you, Mother Cecilia. Andreas, if you want to thank me, do not mention Sister Matilda to the Archdeacon. I do not believe she could have done this. Of course. God bless you, Andreas. There is a lot remaining to do, and we only have one day left to solve any of these mysteries. It really feels like we're not getting anywhere. Alright, that's collapsed. Maybe if we go to the Roman salt mine, we'll find a way in, or maybe through St. Satia. We know that the boy saw something. No, can't do anything there, but this is where the crime happened. Because pilgrims found her. Matilda, I mean. I have no idea how we're going to solve this crime in a single day tomorrow. We have 3 things we can do before the end. It just doesn't feel like we're going to be able to get what we need. We do need to speak to Father Thomas. That is for sure. He might have been the killer. That's very possible. Oh. Andreas, Christ, there you are. Brother Voislav, what's the matter? Don't tell me there's been another killing. Are you all right? You look terrible. It's the Archdeacon. He's come early with an entire retinue in tow. He's questioning everyone who knew the Baron and Brother Piero. I've already told him the little I know. He expects to speak with you tomorrow at Nones. He's requested you specifically. He's been informed of my investigation, then. It's no secret that you've been poking about the town and the abbey, sticking your nose in the rot. I hope your prying has borne fruit, or Piero's neck will meet the sword. I've done my best with the time I've had. If only I had a couple more days. Whatever happens, Piero knows you've been working hard on his behalf, and he's grateful for it. Only Andreas... What is it? It's just... You know as well as I do the Baron was not a good man. I'm not saying he deserved what he got, just... You think hard about what you tell the Archdeacon and who you tell him about. You understand? You're worried I'll tell the Archdeacon what I've heard of Sister Matilda. All I'm saying is, if in your searching you heard anything about her, I'd ask you to keep it to yourself. Do you mean Sister Matilda? But why would you? Are you sleeping with the good sister? How dare you ask me such a thing? And so what if I am? All I ask is that you keep it to yourself. It's nothing to do with the Baron anyway. I'll do what I can to protect Sister Matilda from censure. That's all I would ask of you. I should return to Kiersau. The abbot will be having a fit right about now. Be well, Andreas. I will pray for Piero's deliverance tonight. As you should as well. I think I'm gonna pin it on Ference. That's my only real choice, I think. I think this is the best we can do. Oh, we're actually going to Dreamland. How wonderful. Andreas, when are you coming home? Dad, I'll be home soon. I'm a little nervous about this girl, Sabine. Don't worry yourself over it. I barely knew your mother before we were married. Besides, you need a wife if you're going to start your workshop as a master. That's the law. Yes, of course. You're not going to quit this like you quit university, are you? Haha. No, of course not. Good. If it weren't for the work I did for the rector, you never would have had the opportunity. Most people never get a second chance after they throw away something like that. I know, Dad. We'll see you when you get back. Sure, alright. Oh, it's you. I only have the picture of you, the one my brother Daniel made. I really don't have any idea what you're like. So, what are you like? Please don't imagine me telling you in your own mind. Why? You'll imagine I'm wonderful or imagine I'm horrible. Either way, it's not fair to me, is it? The real you. To none of us. Fair. I'll see you soon, Andreas. For real, I mean. Suppose that's true. Until then. Welcome back, Andreas. It has been too long since you have graced this court with your presence. Apologies, Your Majesty. My mind has been preoccupied by a tragedy at Kiersau Abbey. What manner of tragedy? The murder of a nobleman, a close friend of the Prince Bishop of Freising. My friend, Brother Piero, is the abbot's only suspect. I know that he could not have done it. How do you know? Examine your assumptions, my son. In addition to having no motive and violence not being part of his character, he is not physically capable of the act. He is of limited strength and has a palsy in his hand that makes holding a paintbrush difficult. It is inconceivable that he would have the strength and resolve to kill the Baron with a blow to the head. A whole lot of inconceivable shit happens on this earth, Andreas. I do not deny that it is possible, but I believe it is extremely improbable. So what do you intend to do about it? When I am brought before the Archdeacon, I'll tell him what I know about other people who had motives to kill the Baron. I have to believe he'll see there are much more likely suspects than Piero. Why have you taken this task upon yourself? I want to find the real killer. The Archdeacon must be a man of learning. Do you think he is incapable of discovering the truth? Some of the dumbest shitheads in Christendom are judges. For all Andreas knows, this Archdeacon might not be able to tell his head from his asshole. That's my fear, that no matter what evidence I present, Piero's fate may already be sealed. Why does that shit-for-brains abbot care about the death of a useless fart like Lorenz Rothvogel anyway? Powerful people get upset when other powerful people are murdered. This could threaten the existence of the Abbey. Oh no, the Abbey. Who gives a damn about those hypocritical assholes? In any case, Andreas' ability to prevent Piero's death depends on the judgment of the Archdeacon. Wise or foolish, corrupt or just, the Archdeacon will be the first and possibly final arbiter of Piero's guilt. Andreas must win the Archdeacon to his side using the tools favored by men such as him. Honesty? You must be honest in all things, Andreas, but many are not willing to accept the truth, and the cost of honesty can be high. Reason? When's the last time you met a man who was truly ruled by reason? Authority? Despite your talent, you are merely an artist. He has been invested with power by the Prince Bishop of Freising. You have no authority with him. Wisdom? Wisdom can be shared, but the audience may not comprehend it. If reason, wisdom, authority, and honesty cannot triumph, what am I left with? Hope. Lies. Truth. Above all, faith in Providence. Well, what do you plan to tell the Archdeacon, Andreas? There were other people in Kiersau and Tassing who had motives to kill the Baron. Sister Matilda was badly beaten by the Baron for resisting his advances. She almost died. Why was the Baron not punished for it? Seems the Baron was beyond the reach of justice, at least at the time. Mother Cecilia sent Sister Matilda away to a hermitage to recover away from the rest of the nuns. How did you come to this understanding? Mother Cecilia told me that the Baron had harmed a nun during his last visit but would not tell me more. I crept into the Abbey's library after dark and investigated the nuns' admittance records to learn the sister's name. Once I knew the name, I confronted Matilda and she admitted what happened. Oh, oops. I selected the wrong thing. I thought I had the bottom one selected. You risked a great deal by trespassing in the library. Right, Andreas might have seen the monks and nuns fucking. Scandalous behavior. Lorenz couldn't get away with a nun and he'd almost killed her for it. I wish I could say it's surprising. Sister Matilda's motive is a powerful one, but by what means might she have killed the Baron? She may have hit him with a shovel. Found a bloody shovel in the convent garden. She claims she used it to kill baby rabbits. Plausible weapon, to be sure. A shame we cannot confirm whether the blood on the tool belongs to Lorenz. Are there any others you suspect? Prior Ferenc feared the Baron would report his occult interests to Inquisitors. How so? Prior Ferenc and the Baron shared a fascination with occult texts. The Baron was pressuring the Prior into performing a ritual for him while he was visiting Kiersau. While Ferenc refused, the Baron threatened to turn him into the Inquisition. How did you come by this knowledge? I found written evidence, a letter from Ferenc to the Baron in which he discusses all of these matters. It is a dangerous thing, a monk dabbling in the occult. His very soul could be in danger. Forget the soul, he could have been defrocked, excommunicated, even killed. All for a little curiosity? Better to say stay stupid and ignorant, that's what I say. We're all aware. The lust for knowledge can be as dangerous as any other desire. I feel like that's a lesson that Maler needs to learn. True. Perhaps Prior Ferenc believed his faith would defend him against the temptations of such knowledge. Even so, simply seeking out, acquiring, and reading these books would open him to suspicion from the Inquisition. I also found a cipher that the Prior had left on his desk in the scriptorium. When I deciphered it, the message pointed me to a freshly disturbed grave in the cemetery. I convinced Otto Zimmermann to dig up the grave in question. What did you find inside? Occult tools that Ferenc had hidden. Why hide them, and why leave the note? I suspect he hid them in case the Baron made good on his threat to summon Inquisitors to Kiersau. The note was likely left for his fellow occult enthusiast back in Hungary in case he was taken away. The book was borrowed from the University of Pesh. Prior Ferenc feared loss of his status, his life, and even God's grace. And there was blood on it. Men have killed for less. How might the Prior have accomplished the deed? He may have killed the Baron with a silver rod. The Prior uses it in performing his rituals, and there are traces of blood on it. If that was the weapon, it has a certain dramatic propriety, at least. It will be a challenge to condemn a Prior for murder, but if that is where the evidence leads, the Archdeacon should see the wisdom in it. Are there any others you suspect? I found no other suspects. You have brought a worthy mystery before this court, Andreas. I pray to God we have granted you the insight you need to face the coming challenge. Thank you, Your Majesty. I am prepared to meet the day. Before you go, Andreas, there's one more thing to consider. You'll be summoned to the Archdeacon to tell him of what you know, but you need not tell him everything. I think I understand. There is a place for a noble lie. This is not one of them. Why? The Baron is dead. All of the people with a motive to kill him suffered either directly or indirectly from his wickedness. Simply mentioning a name to the Archdeacon may endanger them, whether they had anything to do with the murder or not. Right. No point throwing everyone waist deep into the shit. I protest any attempt at deception, but you must ultimately follow your own conscience, Andreas. Little time remains before you must stand before the Archdeacon. Use it wisely. I have faith in Providence. Until we meet again, Andreas, God be with you. And so with you, Your Majesty. Alright, well, that's good, I guess. Time to get back to work. Alright, so we have one last, I guess, thing to learn. One last session of time to use. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I'm thinking... who could we... Brigitte. I would wish you a good day, Andreas, but I fear that it would be a lie. Has something happened? Martin's gone missing. Kat is beside herself. But not you? I'm very worried for him, but this is not the first time he's run off. He said he wasn't feeling well this morning, and I just knew he had another scheme planned. I'm sure his mother knows where he is. He speaks more to her than he does to me, even though I am his wife. I'm sorry, they've always been close. They've had to endure, well, to endure France. How did you know? You haven't said a word about him. That absence is telling in its own way. Franz is a difficult man, and very hard on Martin. It made him difficult, too. So difficult that he could commit a murder? No, there's a storm cloud over Martin, but it rains only on him. He would never hurt someone. I can't imagine it. What are you talking about? It's nothing. An idle question. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. I should probably get back to my chores. Franz will be angry if he sees me shirking. Or talking to an unmarried man. Until later, then. Be well, Andreas. Be well, Brigitte. We need to talk to Father Thomas. Oh, but it doesn't let us. Alright. I forgot about Till. One last run through all the different environments. Marie. Lay the flowers just like that, Bertie. Did I pick them okay? You think Saint Sacia will like them? They're perfect. She'll like them very much. That's a beautiful bunch of flowers, Bert. Did you gather them yourself? Yes. I like the purple ones most. Looks to me like you have some irises and snowdrops there. The best of early spring in the Alps. Are you leaving them for Saint Sacia? Bertie's flowers, yes, and the last of the fall's apples. Many of our store rotted when the spring damp came, but not this one. It seemed appropriate to bring it here for her. Do you know the story of Saint Sacia, Andreas? Brother Matthew mentioned her when he told me the history of St. Moritz. The hand that held the Holy Lance. She is very dear to us, as dear as the famed St. Moritz, though not widely known. Does it seem unusual to you that such a small mountain town would produce so many saints? I don't know that I would call 2 saints so many. Tassing is blessed to have been founded on the great trade road on fertile land close to the Lord here in the Alps. I have been no place like it, that's true. This was once a pagan village. St. Moritz, snowed in during the bad winter, brought the town to the Lord with the aid of St. Sacia. Sacia was the daughter of the town leader, the first of the pagans moved to convert. She led St. Moritz to a spring, and when he baptized her, the earth grew lush, green, rich with fruit. Apples, presumably. And pears! Yes, sweet pears, gooseberries, currants, apples, and other fruits native to places Sacia had never seen. Moritz and his starving men were saved by this miracle, and the town was brought to Christ's side. In a way, we were all saved that day. What happened to Sacia in the end? She was martyred for her faith. But I feel she is with us still. Don't you, Bert? In the tree! Of course, only a saint's blessing could grow so stately an oak of this altitude. Grown of an acorn fallen off a tree that provided the kindling for Sacia's pyre. Through God's grace, she is always here with us, working her miracles. She seems very important to you. It's through her work and the Lord's grace that I have life I do now. I owe all the joy in my life to her. How do you mean? When Klaus and I first married, we struggled for years to start our family. I was distraught. I wanted a child desperately. I brought an offering to St. Sacia and prayed to be touched by a miracle of life. And we were blessed with Bert here. I came from the tree. And what a blessing he is. My little scamp. It's been some years since his birth and we are struggling again. I'm hoping that Sacia and the Lord will once again bless us with a child. Perhaps a daughter. I hope that for you and Klaus as well, Marie. You are wonderful parents. Thank you, Andreas. You are a good man and a good friend to my husband. We shouldn't keep you any longer. I hope you found peace here with us and with St. Sacia. Until later, Marie. Until later, Bert. Until later. Yeah, we're not really finding any new clues, new people to interact with. Audio just has something to say. I'm beginning to think that this is one of those games where there is no solution and there's no way to solve every mystery. And we just have to, like, accept who we pin it on. That would be kind of cool, right? I am very curious, just overall very curious about what we can do today. Hello, Master Maler. Yeah, there's nothing here. I'm shocked that she's still staying here even though her husband died. It's kind of baffling. I don't know if I want to ask about Brother Voislav because I'm not gonna bring that up. I don't think there's anything to actually talk about there. Maybe I should ask Mother Cecilia? Alright, yeah, there's nothing here. I could ask her about Voislav and get another piece of information that I just choose not to share, but I don't want to also be like a gossip, you know? I also just want to talk to the monks more. Like, there hasn't been a chance. Alright, I guess we may as well just go into the scriptorium. Do our job. Wait, is there nothing we can do here? Oh no, so now I'm in a position where I don't know what to do. I don't know how to spend my day, like progress the actual day. Who do I need to talk to who do I need to interact with to make the day progress? Edoc won't talk to us. Not in there. So that won't talk to us. We've already done everything we can. Good looking gargoyles. Very cool. Huh. What am I supposed to do now? Like, what's my job? What's my goal? Kitchen and cellar. Cucumbers. Oh, we've already looked at all these. That nothing there has changed. Abbot's house. Here we go. Ference. Here, no. Lower Abbey. Andreas. God bless you, Father Guinot. I wanted to speak with you on behalf of the Gertners. The Gertners? What about them? They're struggling to cope with the increase on taxes. I'd like to negotiate a better rate on their behalf. You're an artist, Andreas, not a banker. Their financial agreements between the Abbey and the Gertners are none of your business. Most of the coin will circle back to you anyway. What difference does it make? Anyway, is the Abbey really so reliant on the family's taxes? Yes, we are. Outside of the scriptorium and the shrine, Kiersau makes little income of its own. Tassing's farmland belongs to Kiersau. We rely on taxes to feed the brothers and sisters. If the Gertners wish to farm the land, they have a responsibility to uphold their end of the agreement. However, Prior Ference tells me you are near completion of your latest illumination. I will grant you an early payment this once, so that the Gertners may furnish the Abbey with what they owe. Will you agree to this arrangement, Master Maler? Yes, that's more than fair. Good. Speak with Brother Matthew to collect your wages. I will. Thank you, Father. God bless you, Andreas. Perfect. Let's go do that. So that we can at least pay off our taxes. keep getting lost. I can't remember exactly where where places are. Brother Matthew, I've spoken with the abbot about the gardener's taxes. Oh? Father Gournot said you could pay me early. Very well, come with me. Here you are. I shall note this with Father Gournot and Prior Ference. Thank you, Brother Matthew. God bless you, Andreas. Perfect. All right, now that I've got my repayment, I can give Clara the rent early. I'll give it to her directly to make sure she receives it. Oh, so the accountant gay is in love with the singing choir gay. That makes sense. That all checks out. All right, so this was kind of a big deal. We managed to make this work. My question is what we're supposed to do to pass the time. Maybe the spinning bee? How do I not? What? How could I? Why can't I give it to her? What the heck? Oh no. Okay. I guess we'll just do the spinning bee now. Andreas was just wondering when you'd turn up. The gaggle said you'd come to watch them spin. Between you and me, Hetty's not about to let you go when she's got you in her claws. So I hope you got a few hours to hunker down and get comfortable. Happy to spare a few hours. Hetty'll be glad to hear it. She's got a fondness for you, heaven knows why. Now, I can't let you inside among the unmarried girls, being unmarried yourself. But you're welcome to watch through one of the windows. I understand. That idiot never did see trouble. He didn't want to jump in feet first. You don't think he's gone to Innsbruck? Lord, no. Innsbruck's got to be small time to the little shit now. They're talking about Martin. You think he has something more exciting in mind? It's a big world. Perhaps he intends to explore it or escape. That nobleman was just murdered up at the Abbey. Martin picked an awfully convenient time to run off. Oh, Lord. Andreas was friends with the nobleman. Do you think Martin could have, you know? What motivation could Martin have possibly had? It's not our place to say. Martin has a nasty little habit. He's gotten better. Once a thief, always a thief, I say. I saw Martin running away from the Abbey the morning Lorenz was killed. Martin might be a thief. I don't think he's a murderer. He's a coward at heart. You think that takes a brave man to commit a murder? Not a brave man, but a bold one, and Martin is not that. He's your problem, Cat. What do you think? Could he have killed that man? Mom? It is a matter best left to proper authorities, not a spinning bee. Imagine being tried by a gaggle of peasant women. That's unkind, Johann. It's the truth, isn't it? Doesn't matter if it hurts your feelings. Andreas, if you're just gonna stand around, how about I put you to work? If you're gonna gossip with the girls, you might as well spin with them too. Is it minigame time? This is exciting. How does this work? Draft wool from the dye staff and twist it tight, then spin the tight yarn onto the spindle. Once there's enough yarn on the spindle, collect it at the bottom and begin again. Draft, twist, spin, collect, repeat. You'll figure it out. Draft. 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 Spin, spin, spin. Draft, draft, draft. Spin, spin, spin. You know, I saw Big York talking to that nun again. The young one. Heh, who can blame him? God damn it, Johann. He knows she's trouble. I told him to stay away. She's very pretty, isn't she? In a mean way? Pretty, perhaps, but a nun all the same. He knows better. When has that ever stopped Big York from doing anything? We have plenty of pretty girls here in town. My Veronica's not half bad. Mom! Let's not give Andreas any ideas, eh? Brigitte has been spending a lot of time at her mother's house lately. Agnes is glad to have her home, and Lucky's always treated her like a daughter, but I can tell they're concerned. Are Brigitte and Martin having trouble, Veronica? That's one word for it. Brigitte does what she can, but nothing pleases Martin. He won't lift a finger for her or Wolf. He's such an asshole. Well, that's not his business, is it? Women's work and all that. You ever see him do much men's work, Dad? Can't say I've ever seen him do much work at all. Perhaps Lucky can talk some sense into Martin. He's always been a devoted husband and father. Lucky Steinauer is a model of what a man should be. Is everyone behaving themselves in here? Oh, it's you. Afternoon, Otto. Come to see anyone special? Hello, Otto. It's good to see you. I heard laughing from the road and knew you all had to be up to no good in here. And look, there's Andreas. Have you been minding your manners? Well, Johann here's a real stickler for propriety. I've mostly been listening, actually. I think these women know just about everything that happens in Tassing. My Hetty's got little birdies up in every eave. I was right. So yeah, they basically this is the secrets corner. Are you calling me a gossip? You pretending not to be one? Maybe you learn a little bit about honest work. You could get a family for yourself. We all know you work hard in the fields, Johann. No need to boast. He works hard in other places, too. Mom! You've been in town a few months, Andreas. Got any burning questions you've been meaning to ask? About Tassing. The anchoress in the church. Do you know much about her? Oh, Sister Amelie. You know her, Veronica? We're not dear friends or anything, but sometimes she has these fits, you know. And if Father Thomas isn't there and I have time, I'll wait with her until he arrives. Since when? I didn't know anything about this. Here, I thought you just adored the church building. You're so funny, Veronica. Don't make it sound weird. She's nice, and someone should be there when she's in pain, that's all. Father Thomas told me she receives visions from God. She has been blessed by the Lord. I prefer my blessings to come in the form of golden. She's been in Tassing for near on a decade, hasn't she? Since I was a girl, certainly. We've grown up with her in a way. The woman in the maze, it's like something from a tale of knights and monsters. She's trapped in a box. I don't think there's anything romantic about that. Aren't you a little know-it-all? I didn't realize you were an expert. Come on, Andreas, you've surely got better questions than that. How have you been weathering the storm? Things have been hard all over town, especially with the farmers. We haven't the money or labor to spare to do extensive work here on our own, so we used to rely on Otto here. But the abbot's got me fixing all his shit instead. One of the brothers mentioned the abbot had you replace the scriptorium's roof. At the expense of the rest of the town, he did. You remember those leaks in our ceiling after the storm? We meant to have Otto fix them, but... And the abbot's got lucky repairing his walls and fences instead of ours. Ah, that must be how the sheep got out. Seemed unlikely to me that you'd have let it decay to such a degree unless you had to. That wall's been on the edge of collapsing for seasons now, but Lucky's been too busy with Abbey work. So we had to have Martin do it, and look how that turned out. It's a shameful business, but then those Abbey types wouldn't know a real shame unless it bit them on the ass. Even then, they probably wouldn't feel it under all the padding. I don't know about you girls, but I'm sick of this wool. I'm sure we've all got other chores to do. I'm glad to have that over with. Now I don't have to think about wool for a whole year. Oh, I was having such a nice time. I certainly learned a lot. Care for an escort home, Eva? I'd like that, yes. I expect everyone will be on their best behavior going home. They always are. Johann, please. Andreas, will I see you home for supper? Yes, I'll be there. Thank you for the invitation, everyone. Thanks for coming by, Andreas. Come back anytime. Unless you come on Abbey business. Don't threaten him with a good time, Johann. It's food time.